there, scampers. It's been a while. Right. It's going to be different because everything's different. I can only speak unfiltered. What was it all about? To be this guy. What you're seeing is ultimately me in my rawest form. Okay? And that's ultimately what this whole thing has been about. This true man show, the journey back to yourself. Everything I knew 6 years ago, one play game, radio stations talking about how this thing is a holographic realm. It is, but it's way more than just a holographic realm that you're projecting. That in itself is just one level, one layer of understanding what this is, the quantum realm. So what have I got to say? The journey I've been on, every soul has to do this journey. I'm sure I've had gurus, I've had guys that have followed Alan, what's his name, Alan Watts, Rumi, all the different bits of knowledge that resonated. Energy, frequency, vibration, that's the thing you've got to work out. For me, Tesla 369. I simplify everything, so I just see, because I am a seer, I see through the veil. I see through the bullshit, I see through what people think it is, and I just see it, and I've always seen it. Because I'm not here to fit in, I'm here to play the game of life and crack the game of life. So the game of life for me is a game to transcend. A lot of my friends or people I'm aware of are in the non-duality. But for me, it's not about non-duality. Everything is dual. Everything has duality. Everything has an opposite. That is the universe. The universe. So that means every universe. It's just a fundamental thing in this universe. Even oneness has the masculine and feminine unified. That's all it's ever been. The two pillars. I think I said it in a video, I don't know, 2 years ago. So I've known this stuff, but what happens is, and this is the thing I'm telling you, to maybe save yourself a lot of heartache. But I don't think you will, because you have to go through this process, is you already know. When you go, I think it's when you sit around a campfire and you get stoned and you start to chat and the real part of you comes out. Take heed of what you're saying, because you know it already. But what happens is, I knew the stuff 6 years ago, but because I had no point of reference, because I was coming out of the physical world, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't just go, I know, so, and I'm going to embody this, because you can't, because you have to check behind every cupboard, every pocket. But no, it's got to be like this. So you go down every avenue looking for an alternative, and ultimately you come back to yourself. Oh, shit, I knew at the start, didn't I? And that's the journey. You literally just come back around. Where do you end up? With nobody in your life. If you do it right, there's nobody in your life. That's the truth. There has only ever been me here. Me. I'm even called Michael Emerson. Me. The lost boy. Finding the inner child. Of course the fucking movie's called The Lost Boys. Of course the lead role's Michael Emerson. Because I'm it. This is my created reality. How you take that? Who am I even talking to? Parts of myself that I still need to be seen? I don't think I do. So I hold this as a relic, as some sort of life raft. If you find yourself in choppy waters and you sat there at 2 in the morning stoned and what's it all about, then you will find me. And I'm here to tell you that you're okay. You were always okay. Okay? But I don't fit in. You're not meant to fit in. Okay? This journey, the hero's journey back to the self, is not for the faint of heart. It is for the strongest fucking warriors. Fuck you to those that think, who's he think he is? I think I'm me. Because therefore I am me. I am what I say I am. What I believe I am, what I know I am. Okay? I live in a field with no money, with no visible way of having any income, yet here I stand, still 16 months later. Okay? So, I'm going to walk and talk, because I want to show you what you can create with faith. Okay? Your faith is constantly tested. My faith's tested today, right? Because I'm tired. Because walking the path, the Christ consciousness path, the Buddha consciousness, the Shiva consciousness, all these archetypes, all these ideas of states of being are there for you to try to embody. But there is no body. This is the whole crux of this fucked up thing, this puzzle, it's your story to be solved by you. You're the key to your own question. That world that I used to live in is falling apart. Why is it falling apart? Because I simultaneously are coming together. So everything that is outside of me is going to fall apart. It has to, for me to birth into this new realm, this new reality, the new world. When I step out of 3D consciousness into a higher dimensional space of being. Okay. Well, no, I'm already in, but I'm remembering the steps back. This is what I know. Okay. If this can guide you, because there is a path. There is a path. Okay. People say, no, there's no path. There's a fucking path. Otherwise, you'd never be born. You'd never been born into you trying to work out why I'm born. Well, what's the reason? We think it's to serve humanity. It's to serve yourself. Okay, the God I am, the I am God presence within each of us. Okay, to take every filter off the lens until you standing in a mirror in the room on your own. Okay, where everything is you and you take personal, not even personal. You take full accountability for where you find yourself and you make peace with that. You can't blame the ex-wife, you can't blame the brother-in-law, you can't blame your boss, you can't blame the traffic, you can't blame anything outside of yourself. There is no outside of yourself. Everything you're going to see is uniquely me. Okay? So since the last video, I've found a dog. Well, the dog found me, Simba. When you become sovereign, the king of your own universe, the master of your own universe, then of course I'm going to have a dog called Simba. Okay? The would-be king, the lion king. This is what the Christ consciousness is. The lion king, to walk through a crowd where everybody wants to kill you, and you walk with divine protection. We all have it. But, there's no God, it's that. Okay, then you stay on the sidelines. I walk a path that very few, many have walked before me. And I chose to go all the way. But to go all the way means that you have to have everything stripped away. Okay. And you get reduced down to, and you're humbled to nothing because you know a thing. Okay. So let's show you around. Let's have a... Right, okay, that's 9 minutes of rambling. Right, have we got a dog somewhere? Sim, but you coming for a wander? Yeah, on there. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got 40 degrees outside. We got peppers. We got ganja. We got peppers. We got flowers. We got tomatoes. We got ganja. We've got watermelons growing. I've got I built myself I half built a shower. Fuck me, I'm the halfway man. I'm always about to just finish one project when I start another. But that ultimately is me. This water is Aye. It's that hot. What else have I got? I've got things like flowers. She's a beaut. Well, this is my whole life because it's not my whole life. But there's some beauties plotted up. Okay. So when I took the middle way, because I was born in Middlesbrough, moved to Middleton, Manchester, then the Midlands, then I found myself in the middle of Portugal. I think this is a well-worn story now on my channel. I'm the centre of the universe, my universe. So we've got, I don't know how much you've seen, it's been a while, hasn't it? So I'm going to show you. That was full of flowers the other day. Got lavender, lots of lavender. I had potatoes, they came up, been and gone. I replaced them with onions and beetroots. Strawberries and flowers. Flowers will always light up your heart. Okay. So if you find yourself in a lost position, just start growing some flowers, some plants. Roses. I didn't move back into the summer house, but it was I'd just become a storage thing, but it is what it is. I've took all the fruit off the orange trees. The vines are growing. What's that, you ask? That, my little chums, is my chicken coop. So I have 6 hens now. I got them last Sunday, so what are we on here today? Friday, I think. I've had them 5-6 days. I don't lock them up. Just as I don't have my dog on a lead. Much to the fury of the locals. But that's okay. Good eye, laddie. Hello. So there you go. We're out and about, but it's very warm at the moment. So that's it. A mate of mine said, what are you going to do? You need to put a roof on it for when the fox comes. I went, now, I manifested a beagle. They chase foxes. So I didn't want to chop this down, so I just folded it. Makes fucking sense, doesn't it? I'll get round to folding the rest at some point. Barrel's still rolling. Fig tree is very cooling, so I'm going to build, as a matter of urgency, just a little platform under here to stay very cool. Oh shit. These swings of perpetual motion. I'm not sure if I showed you this. It's been it must be 3 months or 4 months since I've done a video. So I climb this if I feel the want or need. So these swings are perpetual motion. What does that mean? It means they don't swing like that, it doesn't work. So I don't even know if I'm repeating myself. So all you do is you just swing back to front like this. So there we go. Right. like this, and then you just either pull this. What's your head, Tim? Watch your head. That's it. It's perpetual motion. I don't need to swing my feet. I don't need to do anything. That ultimately is the metaphor for life. Okay, if you can find yourself in a field and sit and have the patience to let what's meant to come and find you, without an attachment, without any thought of what it should look like, and be pissed off because it's not enough money, or it's not enough this, or it's not enough. What if everything is just right? But it's our human mind that is even limiting our experience. Because for, I don't know, 16 minutes I've been breathing. And I say this as a thing, 16 minutes I've been breathing. If for one of them minutes I hadn't been breathing, I'd have lost my consciousness, wouldn't I? Yet we take it for granted because we're banking on it, so we never even give it a second thought. So what if everything is perfect? And that ultimately is what this journey's been about. Unprogramming myself from everything I thought it should be and accepting what is. Okay? And when I reduced myself down and I truly found out who I am, what I am. I remember reading something, I think it was in the Kybalion, which is the Hermetic Principles, which is it is ultimately for me the key, one of the cornerstone key of how reality, what we're in, what we find ourselves in. When a man truly knows himself, he will be horrified. Okay? That's why this knowledge is not for everybody. So those that live within the illusion, there's a saying in the Hermetics which says, milk for the babies and meat for the strong men. As in, when you can grasp and not be, and accept what is. When I see myself for what I am, not what I've been projecting, what I truly am. And when you sit with yourself for long enough, and then you realise anything else apart from being your authentic self is a lie. And I'm not a liar. Being authentic and being truthful is something that very few people can be. I'm on about total honesty. Somebody asks you a question, you answer the truth. Because you understand there's only you here. Who are you lying to? How can I lie when there's only me here? This is the freeing nature. This doesn't mean I sit here for the next 20 years twiddling my thumbs waiting for charity. No. Abundance comes when you align with who you really are. Okay? So I, the universe, will always find a way to keep me alive. Okay? To give me exactly what I need for the exact experience. But what I also realise now is it meets you halfway. Which is me meeting myself halfway. So if I want to create a retreat, if I want to share this knowledge, then I will and I can. But what I'm not looking for is a student who wants a half measure, who wants it, well, I can do it Monday to Friday, but I've got to do blah, blah. That's not for me. I'm not giving this, I didn't come this far to just give everybody the keys to the kingdom. Because you won't be able to open a door. Because there's a set of unveilings, there's a set of letting goes of that you have to do, and you alone. I can guide you. I'm not even apologise, there's nothing to apologise to say as if I know more. I fucking know, that's what I know. That's why I live here on my own. In solitude. Solitude is not a punishment. Solitude is an absolute blessing. So when I find people, or when people find me, or the universe sends somebody and I learn, whether a lesson or a blessing, which are the same thing. Let me just get this hat on that was gifted to me the other day in perfect time. There we go. That's a pretty cool look. It's a bit warm for you, kid. It's a bit warm, isn't it? Yeah? He doesn't like too much water. So I felt I had to tie stuff up in a tiny bow. A nice neat thing. Will I leave it open-ended? Of course I will. Do I want to turn up to be an internet sensation? No. That's not my motivation. It never was. It never was. What I know is I've done something very few people can do. I cut every cord so that I could never go back. By definition, the universe had to meet me in that place, no man's land. Okay? So people that might watch this and go, he's lost his mind. I fucking lost my mind. Of course I've lost my mind. That's the whole point of this. He's gone insane. Yes, he's gone insane. What I hope, if I am not repelling certain people and triggering a response of he doesn't know what he's talking, then I haven't gone far enough. Okay, this is the extreme life. A man who lives in a field in a country that nobody speaks his language, and he has no visible income, yet here he is. He has a dog, he has a summer house with a beautiful view, he grows his own vegetables, he has 3 wells, but how? And he has 6 chickens. And my life will continue to keep improving and getting richer and richer, because when I first, ultimately what happens is, and what I know is, that idea that you have in your head of the most peaceful life you could ever have, that picket fence and a little bit of land, that's your starting point. Before you come into this life, you already came from there. Okay? For me, it was me being the shaman, the guy that hands out the acid or the mushrooms or the changa. And I went, there's 81 of us, and I put us all to sleep. There's 81 versions of me. There's 81 aspects of me, okay, that I fractured myself into, or I separated myself into to find myself. So I set myself up in the hardest game there is. The matter world, where everything matters. Why does it matter? Because it's 3D, and that's the low dimensional realm that we find ourselves in. Okay? Well, because I never fit in, I wasn't meant to fit in. I was just meant to work out where I was, and it took me a long time. And I'm here. So I've got a door open. I've got a door open to help anybody who wants to leave. It doesn't mean you have to live here. It doesn't mean you have to give me all your money. It doesn't have. I'm showing you that if you are willing to answer that yearning inside of yourself, then you will be liberated. What does it feel like to be liberated? This is the crux of the point. It's not going to be what you think it is. Okay. Remember that saying? I think it's, I don't know, whoever, Confucius. Before enlightenment, I chopped wood and carried water. After enlightenment, I chopped wood and carried water. I have all this knowledge, yet all it does is isolates me from a world that doesn't live in this knowledge. So the part of me that's yearning for the higher realms, the new world, the 5th dimensional world, I'm it. There isn't another world. I am building it. I've stepped into the 5th dimension, so by definition, this is the new world. As other people step into their created dream world, and it vibrates with mine, because I've got some beautiful friends now. that are on the same frequency. But they don't see it how I see it. That's the fundamental thing that I found, is there's nobody sees the world like me. I would love to meet my match. I would love to meet my true feminine counterpart. What I accept is I am my true feminine counterpart. I have married the masculine with the feminine to be both loving and that power if needed, but the feminine can temper the masculine. How did I do it? By meeting that most angriest version, demonic part of myself, not walling him up, but going in and meeting him, realising I'm the beast in the tall grass, the mad axeman that I always used to speak about. How do you do that? By going into, for men, you go into fucking forests, you take a shitload of drugs, hallucinogens, and you let everybody scare the shit out of you, and then you realise you're the thing that you're scared of. And when you face that, then you can make peace with your own demon. And then you build him a little bunker with a nice bed, and you say to him, thank you for all them times you came out and protected me, but you were out of control because you were out of control. So now if anything ever happened, my demon will come, but what he will do is, instead of him coming out and smashing everything in sight, he comes to just a millimetre to here, which I know, but he's not out of control. I'm not throwing fists just trying to smash everybody. I've no need, because I know that I have the devil within me. That's it. So that devil needs never come out. I've made peace with him, and that's how I found balance in my life. Whatever part you are in your journey that will go, that's not true. That's, oh yes, that makes sense. Or it's because it's only, everything's perception. Right? So in my dream world, I get told a lot of stuff, which is ultimately my subconscious, but also it's other realms of consciousness that I also exist within. It gave me these little nuggets, and it was to receive is how you perceive. So how I perceive this world, so if I see myself as a victim, then I get more of being a victim. When I stepped into my sovereignty, then I'm the king of this reality. That's not, because I'm not got an inferiority complex, I don't have to feel guilty about anything. Everybody I brought into this reality, my kids and everybody else that is an aspect of myself, I've made peace with. There's certain people, certain things that I don't like, that I didn't like, I never liked, okay? Because we're there to trigger a response, to wake up an aspect of myself up, that's it. So there is no bad guy. There never was a bad guy, right? There was parts of my shadow that needed to be viewed, so I created a person to play out a role, whether it's an ex-wife to create trauma and separation so that I could find strength. It's a game. So in the game there's a winner. There is a thing, and for me it's the game of life, transcending duality. Not denying duality, but seeing it and accepting it is what it is. So I choose to walk the middle path between right and wrong, and I choose that there is no right and wrong. There just is what's happening. And if I choose to believe I'm the victim or I'm the protagonist, then I pick a side and then I'm back in duality. So what happens is, where my state of being is, like I say, I continue to Have my heart going. I'm in rude health. I'm in rude health. I'm not hung up on I should be bigger or smaller, I should be taller, or I should be having this, I should have more people here, or I should have more followers, or more anything. I've got exactly what I'm supposed to have. So that by definition, everybody who's meant to get this video will get it, and they will take from it what they need to take. I don't need 1 million people agreeing with me. Neither do I need 1 million people disagreeing with me. But what I need to do is to put myself, my life's work out there for others to use in whatever form they want to use it. That's it. That's ultimately what it's about. Everybody in this place is as worthy of a place in this world. Okay? Nobody is better than you. There is no better or worse. There's different. There's those that have money and those that have influence and power who've convinced everybody that they're not worthy and they've got to pay for their place on this planet or this plane or whatever the thing is. It doesn't matter. Well, that for me is coming to an end. Okay? As I become self-aware, the I am God presence within me that I embody. So of course I've put myself out there as I've learned something, but in my unique way. I'm not dressed like a shaman Buddha. I'm not sitting, I haven't got 1 million followers bringing me chicken and rice. I found it my way. And this way is a brutal way. It is, but I've always been the extreme. So by definition, my journey was always going to be extreme. Okay? So I'm open if anybody wants to come and visit. You stay as long as you want. So I'm going to finish it now. Love, love, love to everybody. Peace, peace, peace.